if money is the only driver, you get burnt out a lot quicker and you end up making a lot of bad decisions. Your purpose is, if I do this really well, who could benefit from this? What was the worst ended up becoming the best thing that ever happened to me. When you let go, life will bring you amazing opportunities. There are going to be hard days, but having the purpose and having the goal and having something bigger get you through those harder days. If you don't love people, you should not be the owner. Love means you want to see them succeed. You want to see them make money. Also, you want to see them have a great life. You want to take care of them. Your people will support you, love you, take care of you, and bleed for you and die for you. If you realize that it's your job to take care of them, you have to have their best interest in mind. Like Steve Jobs said, hire great people, get out of their way.
Hello and welcome to the Differentiation podcast. My name is Michèle Sorgaroli. I'm your host, and today we are being joined by our very special guest, Tzvi Schwartz. Now, I first discovered Tzvi through a LinkedIn post, actually, and his energy just pulled me right in. There was something very contagious about the way he shows up, and it's just something that draws you and you can't help yourself. He is so passionate about helping business owners scale what they love. It just comes through everything he does. And I think that probably has something to do with his own entrepreneurial experience when he was having some dark days and some growth challenges. And he had one strategic partnership that changed the trajectory. That one partnership that helped him change his path, unlocked potential, and helped him realize his own vision, all while having fun. And I think that's the partner that Tzvi is committed to being for his network and his clients today. So I am so excited about what we're going to talk about. Thank you for being here, Tzvi.
Thank you very much for inviting me. And I'm super pumped to do this. I love these conversations. I love it. And I hope that whoever's out there and whoever's listening, I truly, really hope and pray that we'll get something good out of it and realize that, we all have similar stories, but we all have different stories. But I really believe every story has a good ending, or not a good ending, or a good continuation, or whatever the right word is. So like, I encourage everybody to find yourself in this conversation, because this is about you too. It's not just about us.
I told you he has contagious energy. Just can't help but being pulled in. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things, when I first met you, I reached out, we had a conversation, and we really bonded on, a few different areas. But we talked a lot about how peeling back the layers in an inclined engagement, the work that they're doing with their own business, peeling back the layers around the motivations and what are the true motivations for what they do. In other words, what's the purpose beyond just the profit? Of course, we need money, but why? Why do we need money? I'd love for you to share, Tzvi, a little bit about how did you come upon this passion for purposeful business, if you will?
Wow, you don't just like warm up. You just
No, I just go deep.
Let me ask you
Go there with me.
questions out there, and just let's open up with that one. I can only
Let's just
imagine what
go
the next
deep.
question's going to be.
Well, you can handle it.
I love the question, because the truth is, on the one hand, it's the easiest question to answer, and on the other hand, it's the hardest question to answer. I have a chance to work, thankfully, with a lot of different organizations, industry agnostic, doesn't matter, and even profit, not for profit. Arguably in the non-for-profit world, it's always easy, like, oh, we're here, we're gonna, we have this cause, or we love these people, or we're gonna save the world, and it's almost easy to feel connected to that thing. But you come into a regular entrepreneurship, a regular profitable business, and I come across this a lot, and I know that it's true. Like I'll sit with an owner, and we'll work through building his vision, his or her vision. And we'll get to that point of like, why does this company exist? Like, what we'll call in our EOS world the core focus. Like, what do you believe in? And they're like, could we just talk honestly? Like, look, I want to make money. I want to make a lot of money. I want to have a great life. So I want to make a lot of money. Make a lot of money. And in the beginning, it was so hard for me to understand. Like, first of all, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I know from my experience, I know from watching a lot of other people, like if money is the only driver, if money is the only thing that I found and I've seen personally and from others, you get burnt out a lot quicker, and you end up making a lot of bad decisions, because you end up thinking very, very short term. Simon Sinek, dives real deep into the whole start with why. I'm not going to go there. But if you haven't read that book, anybody go and read that. Like there's gold. There's so much gold in that.
There's so much gold in there. I agree.
I'll tell you about myself. All I can speak of as myself. Look, I'm prior to doing this work, I was an electrician. And I remember when I started doing electrical work in the beginning, I was working for a cousin of mine. I don't know what I was doing. It's not like I graduated, electrical college, or I didn't go to any like blue collar school. I just like threw on some tools and was just kind of learning what to do. I actually found it really interesting. I was enjoying the work. I was enjoying
Mm.
designing and installing and seeing how everything kind of came together. And then interestingly, once I left from my cousin, I started my own business thinking like, oh, I'm an electrician. I could start a business. Like it's the same thing. Installing a light fixture,
Yeah.
running a company. How different could it be? I had no idea what I was doing. And interestingly, that passion that I used to enjoy of the installations and watching like somebody's home come to life or a big job site, hit its finish line just to see it all finished at the end. I started to get lost in all the nuances of the difficulties of business, and I started to lose that passion and start to just become a job. And I'll be honest, it was very, very hard because I didn't know any of
Yeah.
the EOS coaching and the different tools that I've learned, thankfully, over the past 6 or 7, maybe even 8 years now. I didn't know any of that stuff.
Right. Just
I
something
was
here,
just,
just yeah,
yeah,
just trying to run, you're doing your thing, right? Something you said, I just want to capture because we talked about vision and you said watching someone's home come to life.
yeah,
So even then, at that time, your vision was to help them realize their dream, right? You
yeah.
loved that. And I just wanted to pull that because it was something that was inspiring you then, but then the passion you said started to dwindle because the operational side started getting to be
Yeah.
a challenge, right?
You ever notice, by I mean, like, I happens to be, I was just walking with my kids the other day. It was like late at night. We were on like a side country road visiting my in-laws, and there was like these garden lights and everything. And like you could see like one house just black at night, like one little front porch light, whatever, you didn't notice anything. But these other lights that were kind of lighting up the whole place, it gave us so much life. Like the bushes were this and the side of the building. It was beautiful. Back in the day, without getting into the electrical side, the electricity stuff and designing that idea that kind of brings the lifeblood of the building or of the house, it just brings it to life in such an interesting way. It was exciting to me. It was really,
Yeah,
really,
I can hear that.
and also
Yeah.
very practical. And what I was trying to get to was everybody, look, everybody likes something, everybody's into something, whatever that thing is. But as soon as the difficulty will kick in,
Mhm.
sometimes that stuff gets lost. It gets really lost. And then all of a sudden it just becomes about I have to make a payroll and I have to get paid and I have to chase this guy and I have to
Mm.
pay that bill and all that stuff kind of gets lost. I even have that now. I want to segue from there to where I am today.
Mm.
These days I have a business also. I don't have any employees. I have an executive assistant, great person that I work with. And when I started doing this coaching and I learned a lot of these things, it was, I mean, the beginning of anything, like, like a new thing, man, it's always exciting in the beginning, whether you have money, you don't have
Yeah.
money, it's like, yeah, let's go do this. And like, but we all know that, life will happen and then that stuff will get a little bit burnt out. I myself, admitting it truthfully, like there were days where I started to do the coaching and I was doing one day after the next day and after the next day, and I was getting a little bit burnt out, a little bit tired,
Mm.
and I was losing some of that energy.
Mhm.
When I started to remember what the work I was going to do was going to do for the other person, like I was struggling driving to work, driving to go
Mhm.
meet a client, and I was totally like, oh my God, how am I going to do this today? Like I'm so out of it today. I'm so not into
Yeah.
it. That's not fair to them. That's not fair. They're paying
Right.
good money and they're counting on us to really help them.
Mhm.
When I don't know how I can't explain it. When I started to remember that today somehow we're going to solve something or create something or do something for this person where their life is going to hopefully something's going to change today. Something's going
Mhm.
to make their life better. I
Mm.
started to remember what I was going through. I started to remember the difficulties that I was facing. And I was thinking this person's probably in their own way facing that also.
Yeah.
And I started to remember, like, I have an opportunity today. I also thank God, thank you for giving me a gift that I could have this ability to help other people. I can't explain it, but when I start to tap into the fact that I could do that,
Yeah.
all of a sudden it didn't feel like a job anymore. And all of a sudden, when I was just like blah out of it, like, oh, I'm just driving, all of a sudden I started to get excited again. Okay, maybe that doesn't excite the other person. That excites me. And
Yeah.
that's why my purpose is, and I try to stay focused on, like, how do I help people become a greater version of themselves? How do I help them
Mhm.
go from where they're here to there? Because life could be that great. That's what talks to me. And that's why I do what I do. Whatever talks to you, whatever talks to that guy, the point of that core focus is yes, of course you want to make money. Okay, but what do you want? Let's pretend you made $100 million. What would you do with that money? Like imagine money, you have the freedom to do whatever you want. What would you do? And interestingly, a lot of these people started to then come to life. These businessmen who always said, I don't know, I'm just here to make money. When I start to ask them the question, what would you do if you made a lot of money? Like, what would you do with the money? Oh, I would probably finally fix this idea, or I would finally, implement a new whatever system that I always wanted to try, or I would really take better care of all my employees. I would start a program, or I would give a
Mm-hmm.
community that I said, so there you go. I said, that's what you love doing. You're really into that. That's your thing, just like my
Yeah.
thing is my thing. And I said, money is a tool that will help you accomplish that. I said, money is not the goal. You need money in order to get to the goal. You need money in order to do those things. I'm not against making money. You have to make a lot of money. You got to be extremely profitable
Well, I
in
think
order to do something great.
exactly, agreed, right? It's money is the tool to do great things. We use it to amplify and leverage and do
Yes.
great things. We
And
can't do great things and have big impact if we don't have the
correct.
resources available to
And I
us.
want to say, I know that you, whoever you are out there that is listening to this, thinking like, okay, yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah,
explain something.
yeah.
I agree. I am not claiming that this is like to make this into some Miss America pageant. Like, let's go save the world tomorrow, and let's
Yeah.
get everybody on the street, and let's go. We're gonna put world peace. I'm not talking about that. Oh, if you could do that, great.
Hmm.
But I'm talking about there are basic
Just
things you could be
basic.
doing to
Yeah.
take care of the guy sitting next to you.
Yeah.
Or there might be just something in your world, in your office, or something in your business that could just go from here to here and you could make it better. And that's interesting. And that makes an impact. I'm not talking about major, major life-changing events. It doesn't have to be. It just has to be something that you enjoy, that somebody else will feel the impact of what you're doing. That's all it means. Who is going to benefit from what you're doing? Just think of it that way. Your purpose is, if I do this really well, or I could do something, who could benefit from this?
I
Other than
think
me, I'll benefit. I'll make a lot of money, but somebody else could benefit. Whoever else, if you're inspired to benefit something or someone, that's what a purpose is.
exactly.
That's all it is. It doesn't have to be anything bigger than that. And that could
No.
be enjoyable and very exciting.
Yeah, too, very well said. And I think just to add to that, the thing that I've noticed, and I'm sure you've seen this as well, but what I've seen in my clients when a purpose is when they connect with it, it gives them a certain vitality or a different life force
Absolutely.
that just is a source of limitless energy. And they present differently. They show up differently. Look at you. I mean, you're so
You
purposeful
feel
and
good. It
you
just like,
feel
like
good. It's fun.
yes, it's fun. Exactly. And I'm
Fun.
trying to encourage to all of you. Yes, of course, I'll say it again and again. Go make a lot of money. But if you enjoy what you're doing, I know a lot of
Exactly.
entrepreneurs, businessmen, like they're making money, but they're
Not having
miserable.
fun. Exactly.
They,
To
they
your
hate,
point,
yeah,
fun first. Fun is a great ROI because it shows up in your energy, it shows up in your interest, it shows up in your passion, which of course turns into results because you're wanting to do the things that you enjoy. And also, somebody said it, I can't remember who said it now. I heard just recently, fun is a great ROI. And now just add some strategy to it.
yes.
Be strategically fun. That's it. Go do something purposeful that lights you up.
Yes.
Love it.
There's a guy, I mean, you're willing to check him out. You can see him on LinkedIn. I love this guy. I got to know him a little bit because he also kind of runs on EOS. He's not a client of mine, he's a client of a colleague of mine. His name is Chad Gono, Chad, Chad, Gono. He's he has a motto. He has a lot of followers. Work is not supposed to suck. He actually made his company purpose is to like create like stories for his people, like to help them all become like a better life for his employees. And he
Oh,
like it's interesting. You have to ask yourself, does the budget of the company support your purpose, or does your purpose support your budget? And interestingly, his job is to grow the company so that he could help a lot more employees have better lives. Like that's what he loves to do. And his motto is work shouldn't suck. And work doesn't have to suck. Look, it could be hard. It is hard. It's
hmm.
hard work. When we say fun, we don't mean like Disneyland, like go on a ride every day.
No.
Fun could be like, so I hope nobody misinterprets what you just meant. Fun is feeling good about what you're doing and
Right.
feeling like you don't feel like you're chained to your desk. You don't
Yeah.
feel like you're
It's
chained to
rewarding.
the job. And you feel good working with the people you love to work with, doing something that interests you, that and ultimately seeing something come to life, something. And the ironic thing is, if you do that really well, you'll make even more money.
Yeah.
Even more
Isn't that the
money. Like, you
truth?
want to make
Yes.
money?
Which we've both
Do
seen
something
in
that's
our,
fun
yeah.
that you enjoy. If you only just want to make money, then you're just going to burn out. You will be
Yeah.
miserable.
Yeah, exactly.
Have fun and make money and watch what happens. Like life could be that good. It really could. And if you don't believe it, then I don't know. Here's a
Yeah.
number of therapists.
You're nuancing something that the difference between success and accomplishment. It's an interesting nuance, and I think about this frequently because you can have success, which when we typically talk about success, we talk about, all the trappings of success, the bigger boat, the bigger car, the nicer house, the bigger holidays, et cetera, et cetera. Very successful. Perhaps there's some prestige in your title and, the size of company, et cetera, et cetera. That's success. But when we feel accomplished, there's a certain level of personal reward in that. Our sense of accomplishment is much richer than
Yes,
success because it is aligned with mastery, contribution, feeling like our work is beneficial to others. So there's a reward in accomplishment that's very different from success.
very true. I think it feels good to see help other people benefit, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's you know what it is. It's a godlike thing. Again, I'm not trying to like
Mhm.
make it into political
No,
or
yeah.
into any spiritual or religious. But I'm a believer. Just speaking of myself, that I believe God is a giver. God likes to
Mhm.
give. He doesn't benefit from anything we do. So we're created in His image, and our job is to therefore give to other people. There's something just so I don't know. I can't explain it. Something magical, something awesome about it. But again, let's also agree that people shouldn't misunderstand that it's not just go have fun. You said
Mhm.
something. There's a nuance that you said. It has to be coupled with strategy.
Mhm.
It has to be coupled with structure.
Mhm.
It has to be coupled with a little bit of common sense also. If it's just fun, you'll fly off the handle and you do something ridiculous. And you'll
Yeah.
burn out thinking, I'm having fun.
Yeah, it's not going to
Michelle
work.
say go have fun. Yes, have fun, but use your
Well,
strategy and
it's
structure, which we could, talk about however, whenever. If you bring those two together,
exactly.
discipline and fun
Love it.
together,
Yeah.
balance each other very,
I
very well.
always talk about the different ends of the spectrum. My clients know this well, but I always talk about the different ends of the spectrum, and the magic is always in the middle. So if you have fun and you
I
have
like it.
strategy, structure, whatever, you
Bring
have
it
to
right
bring
where they meet that line right in the
always right in the
awesome.
middle.
Love
So
that.
you
Yes.
can't just have fun. You can't just do strategy and structure because that's really not fun.
The blend of
You
both,
need to
very,
blend
very
them.
well blending the two together, which is
Magic
not
is
easy.
always in the
You gotta kind of
middle.
like create it as you go sometimes. Yes, that's
Exactly. So now I referenced earlier or alluded to some dark days in your entrepreneurial journey when you had a
yes.
big company and then this partner came in. Tell us a little bit about that story and the impact of that partnership and how it changed your trajectory.
Okay. So I was, as I had mentioned earlier, I was doing electrical work, 16, 17 years, up and down, better year, worse year, better years. I was good at a couple of things. I was very good at bringing in clients and making people feel good because, as you can see, that's my thing. I love
Yeah.
people. I love helping people. The problem was I was missing a lot of the strategy and the structure. That it's not that I didn't believe it was important. I didn't know it as well, and I didn't know
Hmm.
who to turn. And I was kind of winging it and guessing as I was going. I was able to like wing it, like would and just kind of make it through, but I wouldn't call it successful. Like it was very, very, very difficult. I
Yeah.
had some very bad partnerships, people who really were brutal, difficult people to work with, and it made my life really, really hard, which in
Mm.
turn, unfortunately, made it my family's life a lot harder and all that. It was hard. It was
Well,
definitely
it's true, isn't it? How your work does trickle into your
it
home
does.
life and it has
It
a
does.
big impact there.
It really does.
Yeah.
I wish there was a way like there's no like electricity, like a light switch on and off. It doesn't work that way. Like you bring your stuff wherever
Yeah,
you go.
absolutely. Well
So
said. Hmm.
fast forward, I had an opportunity to do a very big project, and I thought this is it. This is the big break. I mean, I did bigger projects and bigger buildings, but I was awarded to do a project in Manhattan, right near Madison Square Garden, that area, Midtown Manhattan. It was a brand new, from the ground up building. It was a Marriott hotel, design built, which for those in the industry knows that means that it did not have an exact set of plans. It means that it's going to be designed and built partly at the same time. It had a structure to it, but which means it left it open-ended for a person like me who didn't know how to price it properly to kind of like end up swallowing a lot of things that I didn't realize I was getting myself
Mm.
into. But the problem is I wasn't ready to take on such a big project. 46-story building, millions and millions of dollar contract. And I was like, wow, what a big contract, big building.
It's
This
like
is
the
gonna be it.
dream opportunity, right? For
Exactly. In
so
the
much.
beginning, it
Yeah.
feels
Yeah.
great. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, it feels good. And we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I'm sure the GC looks like a good guy. We're all good. Fast forward about a year or two in, it was like a 2, 3 year project. About halfway through the project is when I started to really realize we are very far behind. We're losing money. My head guy didn't really know the job well enough. And I
Mm.
had just people problems and money problems and supply problems. And I didn't want to like just like walk off the job and
Mhm.
screw the GC. Like I didn't have the heart to do that. I have a set of values I try to live by, do the right thing. I don't want to hurt anybody, but I know what to do. And I got myself
Mm,
to a point where I didn't know how to kind of get out of this job. And it was my world like went completely upside down. Like I couldn't sleep over this stuff,
of
and
course.
resources were draining all my other projects, and
So you
it
know
was
this
a
feeling
nightmare.
intimately.
It was a nightmare, and I was living it, and I didn't see a way out. Thankfully, there was another company that they love to kind of buy smaller other electrical companies, and they were growing. They were pretty good, and they saw an opportunity. Obviously, you see a flailing company, you're not gonna have to pay that much, but ultimately, there's kind of bring in the good parts, but also the owner. I know that the two owners are very, very good people, and they
Mm.
kind of structured a deal where they could kind of help us finish the project and get us out of some of the issues, and they created, and then in turn, I was going to bring a lot of my employees and my other contracts, all the good parts that were still remaining, over to their company. At the time, to me, that was a lifesaver. I wasn't making any money off of this deal, but
Yeah.
I was able to finally see a light at the end of the tunnel, and I was able to like let go, feeling somebody's going to save us. And I also saw that thankfully I was able to join. Maybe I'll have a job to continue, and all my people, like all the dots will be able to connect. It wasn't great, but it was better than the alternative. And thankfully, I was able to get out of that project, finish it up, and I was able to join this other company. I was eager to join them because I was so curious. What do they know that I don't know? Like they
Oh,
seem to be running a great company. Like I was curious, how does a great company run? They were
hmm.
having fun.
They
They
knew
were
how to
great.
scale and
They were
have
doing it.
fun.
I'm like, you know what? What the hell? Like, how come I don't know this stuff? And I was like, you know what? Let me go join and watch what happens. I was thinking I'll join for a year or two. Maybe I'll then break off again, do my own thing. And I ended up joining them, and they were very gracious and they were very healthy, really great people to work with. And interestingly, they were good, but they were actually just as dysfunctional as me and everybody else. They were just dysfunctional on the larger scale. They were able to like kind of, and I say that openly and truthfully and without, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way.
No, yeah.
You'd be surprised how many companies, even the bigger ones, are extremely dysfunctional. They're kind of succeeding in spite of themselves because
Hmm.
they don't have the right process or anything. And the owners, the bigger they get, eventually gets to a breaking point where they don't know how to manage it anymore. That's kind of the work that I do these days. But anyway, the point is they ended up bringing in a coach to help them grow and structure in a better way. And interestingly, without getting into all the detail of that, I started to work with that coach as they asked me to, because I kind of got it. Like all the things that this coach was teaching somehow just resonated with me so easily
Hmm.
that they leaned on me to learn it with the coach and help teach it to the whole company. The company had 400 employees at the time.
And
And at
this
the
is the
time,
EOS system, is
this is
it?
what got me into the EOS system.
Got
So
you
I was
into
not
it.
working for another electrician. They started to run on EOS.
Okay, the
I
entrepreneur's
found
operating
it
system.
correct. And I found it fascinating how to structure, how to get the right people in the right seats, and how to build processes. And the owner gave me the
Love
ability to
that.
like learn it and roll it out, help the coach roll it out to the whole company. And I was starting to do that on a one level, then the next level, then the next level. And over the next 2 to 3 years, I really, really got to understand very deeply how this operating system works. And I started to understand it well enough, and I started to really have fun. And the company was doing so amazing with this operating system. Like they were able to scale themselves from like 20, 30 million in revenue, which is pretty big, to
Hmm.
80, up 100 million in revenue. They exponential growth over 2 to 3 years because we finally understood what we were doing wrong, and all the pieces start to come together. And that's what a lot of what EOS does. And it's interesting. After doing that for 2 to 3 years, I came to a crossroad where I realized, I became really, really good at this EOS stuff. I loved it so much where I kind of felt a calling of like, I want to now go. I felt like for all those other entrepreneurs like myself who are just
Hmm.
struggling, like they don't have to struggle. They don't have to go through this.
Well,
I wanted to go help a lot of the little guys learn this stuff.
that you
And
were, I love this because you were so empathetic to that journey, having
yeah,
been there, right? You
I know what it
know the
feels like.
pain, and you're like,
It's
oh,
tough.
here's the
Yeah.
answer.
And I want to show it doesn't like it's not brain surgery. It's a lot simpler than you think.
Yeah.
And I kind of said, I wish somebody taught it to me 10, 20 years ago. I would have done things differently.
Yeah.
But that's not how the universe worked. But I learned it. And after about 2 to 3 years, and it's funny, I went to my wife and I said to her, she knew that I was really good at this stuff. I was loving coming home, talking about it every day, EOS stuff. And I told her, I think I'm ready to leave this company and go start my own thing, coaching business, and start teaching this to other people based on all my experience and all the certifications that I was gaining from it. And she's like, "Are you crazy?" She's like, you had your own company for 16 years. It was murder. What do you mean? You're finally working with a great company. They're going, you want to throw that away and just start a company again? Never in a million years. I was like, I don't even understand. This time it's better. It's different. I started to lean into my purpose again. I started to feel alive, like we spoke
Mm,
about again. I started to feel like, no, I can do
vitality.
this. And parenthetically, I didn't have any employees this time. I was like, I told her, no employees. It's a lot easier this time. I don't have to worry about payrolls anymore. I could just take care of myself. And thankfully, as skeptical as she was, she trusted me, and thankfully, and it was hard in the beginning. I have to go try to teach a lot of people these ideas, but thankfully, it's been 6 years now, 6 years that I've been teaching this, and I started with smaller companies, and now thankfully I work with some pretty big companies, and it's interesting to see when I thought I was at the end, I thought like my life's going down.
Mm-hmm.
This job is ripping me apart. My company's falling apart. What was really like, felt like I didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel turned out to be the turning point that ended up bringing me to this phenomenal, amazing life. I could have never guessed if you would have came to me then at that project in
Mm-hmm.
Manhattan and would have said, in 10 years from now, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be an amazing coach, helping big companies, getting paid well, and making a massive impact. I would have been like, dude, you're dreaming. You're out of your mind. I'm an electrician. I don't know how to run a company. You're going to tell me I'm going to teach people how to run companies? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I would have believed you. But in the magic of how the universe and God works, what was the worst ended up becoming the best thing that ever happened.
Well,
And I love
yeah.
to learn from all those experiences. And I always realize that's why I said in the beginning, there's the story's not over yet. The story keeps going. And there's a lot of humility that I had to come, away with from a lot of these things and learn that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not great at everything. I had to learn those things. But it's interesting, through a lot of those difficult experiences, I now find my ability to understand the people I work with, because I'm not just teaching them like I read a book, let me just read what the book said.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived in my version of what they're going
Mm-hmm.
through. I know what it feels like to be the owner and the entrepreneur and the visionary and even the integrator and the COO. I know what it feels like. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I want to give this guy or whoever like a big hug and say, look, it
That's
doesn't have
right.
to suck. We could fix this,
Yeah.
we could make it better.
I love
And that's
that.
what I try to do now. And
Absolutely. Well,
I
listen,
am
it's,
talking to you.
and here we
Look at
are.
how, and you would have told me that one day I'll be talking to Michèle. Come on. Hey,
And
Michèle,
likewise.
never. And here we are, you see?
And here we are.
And who knows what we'll
On
get to
opposite ends of the
someday.
country, no less, on two different countries.
Because we let go and we're willing to
Yeah,
learn new things and try new things, and
exactly.
we're willing
It's
to grow.
amazing.
And that's what, thankfully, when you let go, life will bring you amazing opportunities.
Oh, that's a brilliant quote. When you let go, life will bring you
Yeah,
amazing
if you're holding on to
opportunities.
all that old stuff and
Yeah,
all your old beliefs, like, oh, then you're just
yeah,
stuck forever.
yeah, exactly. I like to say your pain is your purpose. And
I,
that meant something to you.
yes, something resonated with me. I don't know. I feel like I have to say like this analogy that I heard that made a major difference in my life. And a lot of the clients I work with tell me that it resonates with them because I think it's on this idea. I just want to throw this point one more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I read, I read, I don't know where, Chinese proverb, whatever you want to call it. It was some kind of a little of a story. There was a guy who was running for his life. He was, I don't know, running through the forest, someone's chasing him. And he comes to this raging river and he's got to like swim to the other side. Now, it's not like he could just jump in and he'll drown.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs to like make a raft. So MacGyver style, if you remember, MacGyver, that.
Mm-hmm. I'm old enough to remember
He
that.
takes some twigs and branches and he makes himself a little raft, and he manages to paddle himself to the other side. And now that he's on the other side, he's running again. But whatever's chasing him, they're hot on his tracks and on his tail. They're going to catch up to him. They're bigger and faster. They're going to get to the other side too. And now he is running for his life again. But he's running for his life. But now he's dragging this raft with him. Now, why
Oh.
is he dragging the raft? Because he's thinking, first of all, I built this thing. This is my handiwork. I'm not going to just throw it away. Plus, what if I need it again? What if I run into another river? And now he's running for his life, but he's dragging a raft with him. He's trying to climb trees and mountains, and he's dragging a raft. And it's interesting. The very thing that saved his life
Mm-hmm.
is now the thing that's killing him.
Yeah.
The raft that you built that saved your life, letting go of it means
Mm-hmm.
now you could run faster. I've met a lot of owners and they come to these crossroads of difficulty where they built this business in a certain way, or
Mm-hmm.
this is how things work. And I agree. Yes, you did the right thing and you hustled, you did your thing, whatever it is. You built that raft and it definitely got you to this side of the river. But now that you're hitting a new ceiling and you're growing again, if you're still going to try to grow, but you're holding on to the old way of thinking of I got to do everything and it's my way and all that stuff, you're not able to let go of some of your old belief systems. You're holding on to that raft. The very thing that saved you is now the thing that's going to kill you. It takes a lot of courage to let go of the old raft, saying, this thing saved my life, but now I need a whole new, we're going to need a bigger boat. We're going to need something different. That takes a lot. And I came to that crossroad myself, and I realized I don't know everything, and I got to fix all these ideas that I kind of, thought I had right. And when you let go of that stuff and you open-minded to learn something new, that's where amazing things will happen for you. It doesn't mean you have to change your values. Your values are who you always are. Though I have the same values today as I had 20 years ago when I started my electrical company. Your core values and that stuff
doesn't change.
But how things work, like Adam Grant once said, imagine somebody today using like Windows 95. Like, wake up, like, you have new versions there.
Time to change.
Yeah, it means letting go of the old way of doing things. And that's the only way to really get to the next level.
It's in the work that I do around differentiation, it's the same type of thing, that letting go of the old way of doing things, allowing expression to come out and being more purposeful and aligning with who you are authentically and expressing that. I see, I do a lot of work with clients, as you do. I do a lot of work with clients around how to help them release some of the, what I call the mask, or to allow some of their expression to come forward outside the structured design of their business and who they have been, the quintessential professional very often, right? When there's a time though, when in most cases, there's a lot of resistance, but this has worked. This was the raft, right? This has worked. When do you see that in your business, and how do you deal with it?
Well, I see it with a lot of the clients I work with, where I've Patrick Lencioni, who from the Table Group, who is one of the most brilliant team building type of guys out there. And his book, The Five Dysfunctions of a Team, illustrates this idea that true ability of growth comes from vulnerability. What he calls trust. And people misunderstand trust. People think trust is like, oh, I know Michèle, like, I'll lend you $100. I trust that if I give you $100, she'll pay me back, or here are my car keys. People don't realize that's what he calls permission-based trust. Trust of a kind of like, I trust you enough that, with a low level of trust. There's a much higher level of trust, which is what you call taking the mask off, which most people are terrified of.
Oh, yeah.
What you call vulnerability-based trust. People are afraid to be vulnerable. They're afraid that if you saw my weakness, or if you knew something about me, like, or employees, it happens a lot. The owner is afraid to be vulnerable with his people and say, I don't know everything, or I'm making a mistake, or I'm not sure where we're going tomorrow, kind of a thing. And the employees are afraid because the owner created an environment where they're afraid that if I speak up, they also are afraid to speak up. If I say that I messed up, or I say I'm afraid that I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm in the wrong seat, the wrong job, maybe you'll fire me, maybe I don't know, you'll dock my pay, I won't get a bonus, which means the company starts to live in this, everybody's kind of protect themselves kind of a way. And the beauty of real opportunity is still being masked because everybody's trying to cover up and trying to mask what you kind of said, like, where their fears are. And Patrick Lencioni has proven, a great team builds that level of trust where they're able to learn how to be vulnerable with each other. Now, it could only work if they share the same values and they kind of have that same purpose, because otherwise you're just mixing and matching people who don't necessarily need to be trusting and vulnerable with each other. Doesn't mean just throw anybody together. But once you have those people who kind of share those values and believe the same thing, there are ways that we help them build trust by learning how to become vulnerable and learning how to let go. And ironically, the more they let go, which he shows leads to what he calls healthy conflict. Because imagine you take the mask off. Now, I'm not afraid to tell you something. You're not afraid to tell me something, which means we're not going to argue about who's right. We're going to argue about what's right. We're not like, we're not, I'm not afraid to be wrong. I'm not afraid that I'm going to sound stupid because I trust you. You're not going to hurt me for like saying the wrong thing as long as I'm doing it respectfully. And I'm not going to hurt you, which means we could finally be open and honest and vulnerable. And we could really dig to the real issues. Which leads to a deeper level of commitment, which leads to a deeper level of accountability, which leads to deeper results. So yes, taking the mask off, which is terrifying, comes from building vulnerability, which again, and ironically, it has to start with the owner. I know you work one-on-one with the visionaries. When the owner who is leading the way takes his mask off first and says, look, here's who I really am. Here's where I'm good, but here's where I know, guys, like I'm admitting I'm messing something up. And he or she shows like, I'm human.
Hmm.
And he gives them permission to be human too. Now, all of a sudden, the right people start to feel like
Yeah.
we could take a deep breath and we could really be authentic finally, instead of like we have to just impress each other, which is where like real, like you said, the real magic will then come through.
Yeah,
And I know that
absolutely.
I love that you work with the owner and give them the courage to do that, because it takes a lot of courage to do that. It's scary as hell to
It's
like become
scary.
vulnerable, pull the mask off. It's really scary.
It's really
I don't
scary.
know if it wasn't Will Smith who said the line, but somebody said everything you ever wanted is on the other side of fear.
Yeah,
So
I
if you're
don't know who said.
afraid of being
Yeah.
vulnerable, that means that like you're giving up on something greater. So it
You
takes a
know,
lot.
yeah, and the vulnerability piece, there's so much that my head's just going bananas here. So I'm just so excited we could talk. Anyway, the magic in the middle, right? And I think about, I think it was Matthew McConaughey actually who said, if you're
All
going
right,
into a
all right, all right.
conversation, yes, if you're going
He
into a
said that also.
conversation or if you're going into a conflict to win, you've already lost.
Ah,
You want to go into the conversation to understand.
yeah,
So again, it's if I win, you lose, right? There's polar, and the magic is in coming together to create a better outcome. And
yes,
what I see constantly is when there are two strongly differing opinions, one is rarely perfectly right,
very
right?
true.
It's and that's why there's this push and pull. And I love that seeing seeing the feeling of seeing tension in a healthy way come to the magic of understanding and more than greater potential. It opens up whole new worlds of possibility.
100%. What we're talking about is where, yes, I find it's really shedding a little bit of an ego. Most
Yeah.
people they think that their ego is protecting them. I have to be macho, I have to be tough, and they don't realize you could be very, very, very healthy and strong. Jim Collins talks about it in all his books and Good to Great and all that. Some big, big, big name
Mm,
CEOs who were easygoing, less ego, or I can't remember whose line it was. That the ego, is it's not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. It's
mm,
like what he calls a level 5 leader, is like truly believing in the purpose and the people and wanting very badly. I've met weak CEOs who pretend to be super CEOs,
mm,
and they walk around macho and they're
mhm,
so afraid to
mhm,
be vulnerable and
mhm,
let go of that ego and build a real culture. They think like
mhm.
some of them call this like, oh, this all this kumbaya nonsense. And they don't realize that's not true.
That's not what
I
it is.
agree. It doesn't have to be everybody hold hands and sing
Yeah.
together, but they don't realize that culture ultimately, I've found culture, if you really think about it, is how people feel. Culture is how do people feel on Sunday night about work
Going
for
to
Monday
work.
morning. For culture is, as somebody once said, is how do people, culture is what happens when the boss is not in the room. That's what really is happening. Are the people really feeling, doing, thinking, acting that way? Which means he built a real culture. And think about it. If people feel good,
Mhm,
in a good mood, they're feeling connected, the
mhm,
vision makes sense, all the tools they're using are working and everything. And the owner created a safe environment that's an interesting environment, it's a fun environment, it's focused, it's goal oriented, it's mission oriented for real, without all that la di da, but the real, something real that they could hold on to. People come to work feeling good. They feel good when they're there. They feel good working with the people around them. When people feel good, they naturally work better. And when they work better, they naturally have much better results.
yeah.
And if they have much better results, they naturally achieve greater goals, which naturally allows them to make more money and become even more profitable. So I keep telling these CEOs, it starts with your culture.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
have people feel good. You can't make a lot of money and profitability if all your people don't trust anybody and nobody feels good. Nobody wants to show up. They're just showing up and trying to do as little as possible and go home.
Well,
Culture,
yeah,
owner, your job is not to do any of the work anymore. Your job is to build a culture and a focus and let them do it.
absolutely. And I think
Build a
something we see, I'm
culture.
sure you see this, I certainly see this in my work, where at times the business leader, the owner, is so focused on money, coming back to profit, right? They've got their employees who are just working for the man, so to speak, or the woman, as the case may be. And the problem with that is, of course, they don't necessarily put any passion into that because there's no meaningful work. So where the business, where the leader, the owner, the founder creates something more purposeful, it's bigger than the company.
Yes.
And everybody can rally around that. And if the
Yes.
business owner doesn't bring that kind of excitement and compelling passion to the workplace, then the employees or the team is just working for them.
Correct. That's their natural default. And the
right?
owner's job is to bring something to the table and make them
Yeah.
believe.
And
Again, it doesn't have to be Miss America pageant stuff.
no, it can be,
Just make
it
them
doesn't
believe
matter what it
something.
is, something, anything. And
What
the
would
key
make them
here,
want to be here?
yeah, the biggest thing that I find is, purpose has been a popular trending theme, if you will, for the last several years now. And so often the purpose is well crafted, but with no emotional engagement. You probably see that. Where in our work, the purpose is, oh, that sounds really good, but nobody's actually connected to it. You see that?
It's
And I
there.
always say, if your purpose does not light you up, if you're not excited about it, it doesn't matter what it is. The only thing that matters is that it lights you up. And if it doesn't light you up, you have the wrong one.
Correct.
There's
Your people
something
get burnt
dramatically
out, you get
wrong.
burnt out, you end up making bad decisions, you're only making
Yeah.
money decisions, and you will not achieve the greatest level of success and profitability if you could just believe in something. Like, and again, that means being vulnerable. That means letting go and asking, like, it's okay to believe in something. It's
Yeah.
okay. You'll actually enjoy your life more. Like, it's so worth it.
You
I
can
have a
hear.
hard time working with the ones who don't. I really, really struggle. I
Mhm.
really struggle because I'm so bad. I say, why do I want your success more than you, man? Like, why am I trying harder than you to help you grow? Like, and it's interesting. A lot of those CEOs who are like, they don't get it. Their employees come to me like after the meeting and they're so afraid to say anything. Like, don't tell him I
Mhm.
said it. They're like, I wish he or she would like bring it more. I
Mhm.
wish we had a better culture here. Like, I wish, it's interesting when you don't have a great culture, the good people eventually leave and the bad people
Yeah.
stay. They're like, the bad people stay because, like, wow, you can get away with anything around here. You can do whatever you
Right.
want, and they're
Right.
only out it for themselves anyway. The really good people end up going somewhere else. They're like, I'd rather work somewhere where I'm more appreciated, where I feel better every day. I like the people I work with. My boss treats me properly. I see a bigger future. You know, it's like a
Absolutely.
GPS. It's like the company having a. If I were to come to your house today, Michelle, and I met you outside and I said, "Hey, come, let's get in the car." The first question, what's the first question you're going to ask me? If
Where
I
are we
asked you,
going?
jump in my car, where are we going?
Where are we
Because
going?
you're going to decide. I don't know if I want to go where you're going. I like you, nice guy. I don't know if I want to go where you're going. You're also going, oh, who else is in the car? Oh, he's coming. I don't want to go if he's going. Going there, which means when people know where they're going and why they're going there,
Mhm.
all of a sudden their level of commitment's different. And a business is no different. People want to know where are we going. If there is no making money is not having a goal. We're just going to drive around and just drive a lot of miles. We're going to have as many miles as possible. It doesn't matter which direction we're going. We can go north, south, right? We're just going to
Yeah.
drive the car, which means there's literally no destination. We
Mhm.
don't know if we're going left or right. We don't know why we're going, where we're going. We're just going to drive. If we see money there, we'll go there. If we see money there, we'll go there, which means everybody's just driving in circles, not really going anywhere. And eventually we hit a really, really bad hard turn somewhere. And we're like, oh, so now all of a sudden we're stuck on a road where we don't know how to get out of because we weren't really trying
Yeah.
to get anywhere. And now all the employees abandoned. They just walk out. Now the owner's left there with the car with nowhere to go because he
Mhm.
wasn't really driving it anywhere.
Yeah, it's a great analogy.
Believing in something bigger, believing in a real destination, and enjoying the ride. Listen to the music, sing along to the radio when you're having to drive, but make it fun. But have a destination of where you're going and why you're going there, and make sure your people know that's where we're going. That's why we're going there. Who wants to come with me? And the
You know,
people
it,
that like where we're going, they're gonna willingly drive with you. They will grab the wheel
they'll
for you.
stay. Yeah. And they'll help. Yeah. This is such a great analogy because I'm thinking, if to follow along, if you came up and said, we have a relationship and you said, hop in the car, I was like, okay, I wouldn't even care where we were going, to be honest. I think it would be super fun for a while. Right?
Yes.
So and I think there's a lot of enthusiasm like that, blind enthusiasm is certainly in the early stages of a business because it's about survival. It's just getting in the car and going somewhere. Let's just go do this, right? Okay.
Startup mode. Absolutely.
Right. And it's exciting and it's fun. And after a while, it's like, so why are we here? What's happening? And that
Correct.
that guy in the back or that woman in the back, she's driving me nuts. Like she doesn't
If
stop talking.
and if we don't bring the car to get an oil change and to check
Hmm.
to make sure the car's healthy, eventually that beautiful car will burn out. You have to take
Yep.
care of the car, like you have to take care of the
Yep.
company. You got to change the oil. You got to make
Yep.
sure that you have gas in the car, which means we got to bring money. Like you could have a great idea and have a beautiful car, but if there's no gas for the car, we're not making money.
And if your people in the car aren't eating, they get
Aren't having a
really grumpy.
right, then the whole thing eventually falls apart. And the owner's job is to make sure we have a healthy car, the people in the car are healthy and they're happy, and that we
Yeah,
are still we're moving towards
we know
this
where we're
amazing
going.
journey. Like, we're driving cross country, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We're moving, and he's keeping us focused. there are going to be hard days. Let's not pretend like
Yeah.
there are days where, yes, there will be people who are going to run into, but having the purpose and having the goal and having something bigger
Hmm.
get you through those harder days and say,
Hmm.
let's keep going. Let's
Yeah.
keep going.
I
Keep
think,
moving. Keep moving.
and this is a piece that I love this because this analogy is so strong. When you've got the person behind the wheel driving, in other words, the business leader, the owner, the founder, they're just excited by the journey. They'll go anywhere. Oh, let's go down here. Let's go try this. And their level of excitement can be sustained, if you will, because they're driving and they can create their vision on the fly. So they
Yes.
will, right? So they can adopt their vision and change their vision and do whatever. And we see this all the time. This is a natural entrepreneur. They're constantly, oh, let's go check out that road. Let's go down that laneway. Let's go over there. Let's change our path. The problem is that when they're doing that, the passengers can't follow along. They can't
Correct.
join the entrepreneur in their head. So they don't know what the heck is going on. They're confused. So they start to feel a sense of lack of purpose, lack of intention, lack of clarity, maybe some lack of safety in terms of, do I even have a job next week? Like, what are
Right.
we doing? Right. So, this is something that the leaders have trouble with because they think that it's clear. Like, I'm
Yeah.
driving, you're in the car. Come on, let's just go.
Yeah.
It's a great analogy because I think this is something that
Yeah,
companies,
it's like if I drive really fast, I think we could jump the Grand
right?
Canyon. They're like, no, 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 don't do it, don't do
Not
it.
gonna work.
Yeah, because sometimes, and I love those visionaries and the CEOs, and they really
Hmm.
believe, like, no, no, I could do it. Watch. Like, okay, Evil
Yeah.
Knievel, calm down. We're not ready to do that yet. And they're able to keep each other. But if there's no
Oh,
vulnerability and there's no trust, they're not
right.
going to say anything, and they'll either jump out of the car and let him kill himself,
Yeah.
or they're going to go down with the car, thinking I was just too afraid to tell the guy, like, don't jump.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to work.
Exactly.
And that's why all of the stuff we're talking about, all of it kind of has to weave itself together into this
Yeah.
one entity called business, which is not, people just think, oh, business, business. Business could be a life, and it could be rewarding, and it could be interesting, and it could
Mhm.
be exciting, and it could be fun, and it could be sad, and it could be, it's life itself. And this great opportunity of new levels, of new growth, and all the structure and all that belief and all that stuff that we're talking about is what it should be about. And anybody that's like, yeah, it's just business, like, I feel bad for you. I feel bad for you, and I feel bad for the people that are working for you, because they're not gonna be able to give you their best, and you will not achieve the greatest goals that you could achieve if you don't start to see it differently. Like, it's
Hmm.
supposed to be awesome. It really
Hmm.
is. It doesn't mean easy. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard, which is why you need that purpose, and why you need to make money, and why you need good people to work with you, and why you have to be tough sometimes. But it has to be rooted and grounded in something. It can't just be whimsical and nothing, because it
Yeah.
won't last and will destroy you. And you don't, nobody deserves that.
It's not,
Everybody can
yeah.
have a good day.
It's not sustainable if there isn't a powerful why.
Gino Wickman explained the whole reason for the EOS system. It's not just to run a better business. He wrote a book called the EOS Life. He says
I
the
don't know
EOS
that
Life is
one.
5 things. He said if you run your business really well, and the whole
Hmm.
EOS process is how to do that. The result will be every every entrepreneur, and him and his leaders, and even everybody in the company will be able to say 5 things. I love what I do. I love the fact that I'm doing what I love, the job that I do, because I
Hmm.
delegated all the other stuff to other people. I don't love doing that other stuff. I love what I do.
Hmm.
I love the people I'm doing it with, because I built a culture of people who think like I think, who want
Hmm.
what I want. The other people, they're all good people. If they don't fit our
Hmm.
culture, they work for somebody else, no problem. I love the people. I love my customers. I love my employees, because we filtered out all the ones who don't belong. I love what I love it. I love the people I work with. I feel like the work we're doing makes a big impact. I feel like the
Hmm.
people benefit from the work we do.
My
I feel
work
like we're making a
matters.
big difference.
Hmm.
And I'm getting compensated appropriately, which means we built an engine. We built something that is
Hmm.
everlasting, which means we could all make good money
Hmm.
profitably. And the most important is number 5, which is with the time to do other things. I've met a
Hmm.
lot of business owners who make a lot of money, but they work 18 hours a day. And when they're on their
Hmm.
vacation, they're sitting on the beach with their laptop, because they built a business where it all revolves around them. They don't trust
Hmm.
anybody. They don't let go of anything. And nobody else is willing to step up. So now they're always working. They're making money, but their life is just like, they're supposed to be spending time with their kids, or doing Lego, or going for a walk with their wife, but they don't do that because there's no time.
Hmm.
If you build a great business where everybody is able to do their part, be in the right seats, and work together, which is what EOS can do,
Hmm.
the result is you will get your life back. You will have time to enjoy your life also. You will be able to leave the business and have a great weekend, have a great evening.
Hmm.
Things will fall apart because everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. You will have a great life. But you have to be very intentional about these. You actually have to want to, if you don't love people, you should not be the owner, by the way. I'm going to say that. if you don't, I mean, not like people, you have to love your people. And I mean, love means you want to
Mhm.
see them succeed. You want to see them make money also. You want to see them have a great life. You want to take care of them. If you don't want to love your people and love your clients and really take care of them, the right ones, you don't have to take care of the wrong ones. The wrong ones who are hurtful, let them go. I agree. I'm not saying just bring everybody in. We need filtering systems, values. There are ways to filter
Yeah.
the people out. But the people who belong, you have to love them and take care of
Yeah.
them, and they will love you back and you will work with them. And oh my God, the things you guys could do together. And if you don't love your people and you don't want to see them do, you do not deserve to be a CEO. If you're just about making money, go, I don't know, go to Wall Street, sell some stocks, do your thing. You want to have a company, then it's your responsibility to be the captain of the ship and take care of those people, to love those people, and to guide them to a better life where they will also have a better life because they work for you. They will become better in one way or another. They're going to become better because they work for you. That's your job. And if you don't understand that that's what your job is, you don't deserve to be the CEO. And if you are and you need help, oh, you call me, you call Michèle, we'll help you do that. We could do that. We know what you're
Yeah.
going through, but
Yeah.
that's really what the job is. And you're
It's
not alone. There's a lot of CEOs out there that struggle with this, and there's peer groups and there's all kinds of things that they could join to learn from the experiences of other people. But like you said, Michèle, they have to take the mask off.
yeah.
They have to first admit, I don't know everything, and I'm stuck, or we're struggling, and they could find the help that they need. And I'm telling you, it's a lot simpler than they think.
I
I
think,
wish they
well, to your point, love your people. You're really touching on something that's so chronically absent in business, where
bad. I don't know why.
it's chronically absent, really, where the business seems to be its own entity and everything is serving the business, where, as you're framing it, and I fully am, aligned with this thinking, the business serves the people. It serves your customers, it serves your employees, it serves your community, it serves your network, it serves you and your family. But the business is serving others. It's
Yes.
not that others are serving the business. And I think that's to a large extent what's been happening in our corporate culture today that's resulting in so much disease, unhappiness, burnout, etc. Because it's like it's been switched. It's
Yeah.
been flipped. People
Gary
forget.
Vaynerchuk, Gary V, a lot of
Yeah.
people know him. Somebody once asked him, give me 3 words of, what is the role of the CEO? And he just kind of took 4 words, but he took the last 2 words and made it into one word. He said, you work for them.
Yeah.
But that's true. He said, you work for them. When you
Yeah.
realize your job is to serve others, it's not, again, it's not kumbaya. Ironically, you will be the biggest beneficiary of
Mm-hmm.
that. Your company will
Mm-hmm.
succeed and your people will know that you make more money than them, and they'll be okay with that because they love you too.
Yeah.
They know you make more, but you take care of us. So we have no issue with you making a lot of money. Like business owners are
Mm-hmm.
afraid to share their
Yeah.
numbers, they're afraid
Yeah.
to share their profits because they think
Yeah.
like we don't know. We're okay with you making a lot of money because you're okay with us making money too.
Yeah.
Because you're okay with
We're the
us having a good life.
beneficiaries of that, right?
And we're fine with it. Simon
Yeah.
Sinek said, like, if you knew we were giving a big bonus to like Mother Teresa or to like Nelson Mandela, once upon a time, nobody would argue because like they're
Yeah.
good people. But if we're giving like a big bonus to this Wall Street tycoon guy who, fired 2,000 people but took home a $10 million bonus, everybody'd be like really pissed off at this guy, like because he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's in it for
Yeah.
himself. Your people will support you, love you, take care of you, and bleed for you and die for you if you realize that it's your job to take care of them. You have to have their best interest in mind. And if you do that,
When
you will benefit big time.
Absolutely, as you've seen, and I have as well. Just as we're winding up, I just want to close the loop on this. When did the coin drop for you in terms of how important this is about loving your people as CEO?
Great question. You know what? I can't point to a specific time or a specific incident. Like I said, I've been working with a lot of CEOs. I must have worked with 50, 60 companies by now for sure over the past 6 years. The few that really live this way are the ones who are just the most successful. I've just seen the pattern.
Mhm.
See, the ones who really take care of their people, who really believe in something bigger, they're having more fun. They're making more money. They're getting through the difficult economies. And I've seen the ones who are cutthroat, they say one thing and they try to do another thing, are the ones who are always angry. They're always suffering. They're always one quarter up, one quarter down, one quarter up, one quarter down.
Mm.
They're not going anywhere. So I don't know if there was a specific time, but I'm telling you, I've seen the pattern. And from all types of industries. I work with all kinds of companies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a culmination of so many, client sessions that I just started to realize and believe that there is so much truth to this.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. And that is, for me, this is why I love working with the founders and the business owners, because
The toughest people to work
it's,
with, best people to work with.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I can totally appreciate.
Yeah.
And you're right. When you see how the ripple effect of that individual on the people in their network, their community, their company, it's incredible. It's so profound. Love it. I know we could talk for days, if not
Yes.
much longer. We'll have to do a second take on this,
Sure.
and do another conversation at a future date. But for today, Tzvi, it has been so joyful. If you reflect on our conversation today and would like our listeners to really anchor on one core theme that might be a game changer for them, what piece of wisdom might you offer?
Wow, that is a big question because I wish there was just one thing I could say. Um, but the only thing I could think of is the greatest lesson that I've learned and I've seen other people is you don't need to know everything. Stop trying to you don't have to know all the answers. You There's a great book by Dr. Benjamin Hardy called Who Not How.
It's a great book. Mm-hmm.
And this is the best piece of wisdom I could give you is in your whoever you are, Mr. CEO, Mrs. CEO, start thinking who do I need, not how do I do it. You don't need to know all the hows. Even in your own business, in your own field, you don't need to figure out what I know. I've learned how to structure a business. You need to find who is the right who that could teach me how to do this. And when you're hiring other people, who are the people I need that are really, really good? And like Steve Jobs said, hire great people and get out of their way. They'll be better at it than you. If you could start thinking who, not how, you don't have to figure out how. Whatever you are great at, Mr. CEO, Mrs. CEO, be amazing at that one thing and everything else delegate and find other people, which means be humble, admit that you don't know everything, be open-minded to learning from other people. And if you think who, not how, your whole world will open up. You will finally realize you could surround yourself with amazing people and you will bring that energy of all those people together and you will just grow and grow and grow. Stop trying to do the how. It's way too hard. It's linear, it's slow, and it's difficult. Think who, not how.
And that brings so much vitality to your life and to our conversation.
Indeed.
Tzvi, thank you for all the wisdom you've shared with us today. For those who would like to get to know you better, follow you, and glean more of your wisdom, where might they be able to connect?
Best place you'll probably find me accessibly is on LinkedIn. I'm not sure,
I
maybe
did. That's where I found you.
you'll able to find if you could post the LinkedIn. I'm not sure offhand what the URL and how to say it or what it is.
I can
But
put the link
look
there.
up my
Yes.
name on LinkedIn. You'll probably see this face with that name. You'll be like, oh, that's the guy.
That's the guy.
EOS associated with it. You'll know you're the right guy. And on my page is my email address. But if you want to just shoot me an email, also, I'm happy to just schedule time and just talk. My email address is Tzvi, as you can see, as written on the screen, .Schwartz at eosworldwide.com.
All right. Perfect. We'll make sure that that is there for everyone. And just so much gratitude for your contagious enthusiasm and passion for sharing today and for helping people scale.
For helping me and giving me the ability to do what we do. And I hope that we all continue to have that blessing to help each other and to see amazing things, from all of us. Everybody has some. If you're here in this world, you were chosen to be here. There's something for you to do. You have a mission, whether it's at the top, the middle, and the side, the left, it doesn't matter. Let's all figure out how to do things together. Enough with all the crazy stuff in the world of everybody trying to outdo each other. Let's work together so everybody could have a great life. Like it really is doable. I know people think I'm sounding crazy, but I'm not.
No, I'm with you on that.
Let's do it. One person at a time, one company at a time. Let's do it.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tzvi. Bye for today.
All right. Be well.